All right, so welcome back. We're here at the Team O'Neill Rally School with Tim O'Neill.
Thank you, Wyatt.
And we're going to talk today about axles, drive shafts, CV joints for racing purposes, normal ones versus, some specialized stuff, and what we can do as drivers to hopefully get a little more longevity out of axles. So what do you see with an axle like this as the most common sort of failure?
Well, yeah, the other thing they also call them is prop shafts. So whether you call it a prop shaft or usually the prop shaft would be from the front to the rear, and this would be called a CV joint and a CV shaft. So any of those terms can be interchanged.
So CV joints,
Yep.
Constant velocity?
Yeah, constant velocity joint. So one of the issues, this is a standard Fiesta one. You see, this is quite small and limited on how much steering angle you can actually put in before it comes apart. So this vehicle, this shaft would work well for up to say 150, 60 horsepower. Any more power than that, you're going to start having failures. One of the things about axles and shafts like this is you can actually have a fairly good amount of wheel travel down. On most vehicles you could probably go 2 inches more downward travel. So as you go wheel down, you're going to find that you're going to end up with more and more problems with the ball. As you drop the wheel more, you expose this ball to the outer part of the joint, and then it'll come apart. So a lot of times on an axle, if it's installed right, you can get more wheel travel, but you can't give it more wheel travel and steering angle. Problem is, once you go more wheel travel and steering angle, you expose it at even a greater angle, and that becomes a problem. So that's most failures are too much steering angle and too much droop. You could have one or the other, but not both.
Yeah, so I'll do a close-up here so you guys can see, but basically the outer CV joint, which is what would go through your hub out to your wheel and helps your car drive, is made up of a series of, it's a high-strength steel of some kind?
Yeah, it's usually heat-treated.
Yeah, balls in this crown, and that's what holds it all together, so that when your transmission drives this end, this goes out to your wheel, you can turn, and your suspension can go up and down, and everything's pretty happy, except at very high angles. So, yeah, if you put massive suspension travel in your normal car, or pickup trucks, you see it. People put the lift kits in the pickup trucks, and then you got this, and you're snapping axles. Or we see it here at the driving school a lot, high steering angle, which you can kind of probably even hear this on the video. It's not a very happy noise.
Right, so the big steering angle, most people when they're having a problem getting the car to turn, they have understeer, they give it more steering. And you get away with that when your CV joint starts to wear out. You'll hear this clicking noise. The higher the steering angle, the louder the clicking noise. That's telling you your CV joint is about to break and you're going to lose all drive. One of the things that we teach you at the driving school is to minimize your steering angle. Try to get your weight to be transferred by braking or accelerating, whatever you need to do, depending on the situation, to keep your wheels as straight as possible. These CV joints are much stronger straight on. At the high angle is where they have a problem. Now, one of the things is people say, well, what can I do other than minimizing my steering angle or wheel drop, and that would be to upgrade your axle and CV joints. So one of the things, some people have a problem with high horsepower, they'll break an axle. On this particular car, the axle broke, lots of power, it just snapped right in half. A lot of times, if you have a lot of power, these axles, they twist and torque, and the shock loading eventually cracks and then breaks. So high power, you need to change the shaft. Here's a motorsport shaft. GKN makes this one for the Fiesta. It is much stronger. It's heat treated differently. Some of these axles are hollow, as this one was hollow axle. Those can be stronger. So there's a different axle if you're having problems with braking them because of high horsepower. I've even seen people breaking axles after they put a racing clutch in. The racing clutch can be such a big impact, it's like it's just off or on, and I've seen cases where you put a stock clutch in and it absorbs that energy. Stock engine mounts can absorb some more energy than making things solid. So that's another problem is it braking because of too much power? Is the axle braking, or is the CV joint braking?
Yeah, I asked some of the mechanics earlier, and you don't really see a problem with the inner CV joint, right? Where it goes into the transmission on this end, which is very strong, and that all clicks together, and that goes to the transmission side. They haven't replaced a broken one on these in any of the race cars. They've broken a couple of shafts, but breaking the shafts, at least these guys were telling me, it typically happens when there's more of a story than just I hit a little rock or I hit a little bump.
Yeah, I hit a tree. My axle broke. Well, no, you hit the tree, and that's why it broke.
So massive catastrophe will cause this to break, but sort of just repetitive strain and stress will cause these outer CV joints to wear out. What other situations?
This is only going up and down on the inner one.
Yeah, that's not doing much.
That's going up and down and turning with the steering angle.
What about sort of washboard bumps and jumping car? What else can you do as a driver to keep these things in one piece?
Well, the one thing is the turtle bumps, or when you have washboards and you're getting a lot of wheel spin, that wheel is hopping and it's shock loading. You tend to break axles on that. Another thing is these need to be serviced, right? You have your boot, your CV boot, which keeps the grease out, keeps the grease in and the dirt out. A lot of times people, they don't have a problem with their axles, so they don't worry about it. But you really, on a race car especially, you need to take these apart and clean the grease out. I've seen a lot of people that they get a hole in their boot, they don't notice it, they don't service their CV joints enough, and the grease turns bad and it'll wear the joint out because of lack of grease.
Yeah, we've got, one of our instructors here that's got his own little science project. Chris Rennie's got a bad CV boot that's been torn in a Toyota pickup truck for a couple of years now. And every time he changes his oil, he squirts a little grease in there, and he's not, going to go enter it in the Baja 1000 next week. But he's been milking it just fine. So if you're racing or just driving and you see this boot is ripped, in an emergency, do whatever you can. If you can get some grease in there and get, a plastic bag or anything.
Plastic bag will work, duct tape,
zip ties,
electrical tape,
saran wrap,
silicone,
whatever you've got.
You want to keep the grease in and the dirt out. And if you see a problem when your boot has got any grease on it, then that's the time to deal with it right away. So you should inspect your boots regularly. And you should grease it. If you're going to build a rally car out of an older vehicle, that's exactly what you want to do, is take your CV boots apart, take your CV joints, clean them, check them for wear, repack them, replace them if necessary. And then a lot of times we'll put a sticker on the axle joint when the last time it was serviced. So we try to either life cycle it by throwing them away every once in a while, or we life cycle the servicing, so we'll know that every year we should repack them, and that helps a lot by marking these parts, because all these parts, it can go easily where all of a sudden your axle breaks and you realize you've had that same axle on there and you haven't re-greased it for 5 years. That's where we need to mark the parts.
Yeah, I mean, right straight from, Ford in this case. CV boot kit comes with the boot, comes with grease, comes with new clamps. There's probably everything you need to take it apart and clean it up and put all new clips and put it all back together and make it kind of factory fresh. So, if you were gonna build a vintage rally car or something that's just got 100,000 miles on it, these boots, just like any rubber part, can dry, crack, and rot, and they're not really rubber anymore. So definitely something to look out for.
So one thing we talked about, servicing them correctly, maintaining them right, minimizing the steering angle and droop, and the upgrade. Of course, you can get racing parts, but typically what we do on an upgrade would be, in this example, actually flip it around so it's the same. This is an example of a standard Fiesta. And this is what we use on the R2, which is an upgraded version. The shafts, the splines are the same, but you see how much bigger this joint is? This comes off a much heavier vehicle, something like a Euro Focus or a Euro minivan. This is much bigger. and it provides you with much more strength. The inner joint is much bigger. This comes off from a heavier vehicle with more power. So that's generally what we do, is we upgrade the axles, and not all of them fit right, and sometimes you have to machine them. There's places like the Driveshafts shop that specialize in taking standard parts from another year, make, and model, and upgrading smaller cars with components from a bigger vehicle.
Yeah, if this is a stock, in this case, Ford Fiesta axle that's good for 130, 140, 50 horsepower or something, you know, the R2 spec one with the GKN Motorsports shaft, and the bigger ones are good for 200, 250 horsepower, probably. And then, yeah, the lifetime on the parts is just knowing, just like a lot of rally car stuff, knowing when this, you know, CV axle was replaced, when this CV joint went on the car in February, and you did 7 races and blew one up, then you know every 6 races maybe you have to do new CV joints, because something like this is all it takes, where you do all of these long nights and hard work and no pay and build your rally car and tow it across the country and show up at a race, and halfway through you turn the wheel, hit the gas, the CV joint blows up.
Because you didn't fix that.
Because you didn't, yeah.
One of the things, as far if it was race car, rally car, aviation, they always track the components in a book. You'd have a log book, and it would say that, yes, I repacked these joints brand new or was used. I knew the date, and I tracked the mileage. And you know that in modern rally cars, we know exactly how long it was going to take before this happened. So life cycling parts are important. If you race a production-based car and use production parts, it's actually easier in some ways to just replace your axles every 2 or 3 rallies. And many times we found that just throwing the parts away or selling them to somebody else that could use them on the street. I used to have a garage where I used, I'd take my brand new Volkswagen parts, and I'd give them as a discount. After I run them for 2 or 3 rallies, I'd discount them and sell them to customers on the street, and they'd last for 100,000 miles. But I knew if I left them in there for more than 3 or 4 rallies, they would break.
Yeah, that's all I've got on sort of CVs. I know one other thing that you do with the R2s is, because the high steering angle is such a stressing factor that breaks these, you do a steering limiter?
Yes. So yeah, that's what we talked about a little bit earlier. You know, what we have on our steering limiters, we don't really need to have high steering angle. You know, it's basically for when you're turning your car around a parking lot. So there's a couple ways of doing it. On the steering rack that hooks to your front wheels, and when you turn, the steering rack pushes and pulls and turns the wheel. We will put a spacer in the end of the steering rack. The Fiesta ones, it's about 1 inch, and the spacer makes it so the inner tie rod hits that spacer and it won't allow it to go any further, and that's how we usually limit the steering angle, by spacing out, putting a spacer in the end of the steering rack. Thank you for putting up with us and listening to Wyatt's videos. He's really getting pretty good, and if you have any questions about any of this, please send us an email. We'd love to help come up with answering your questions, because if you have a question, probably there's another 40,000 people that have the same question, just are too scared to ask. Thank you.
Yeah, and if this doesn't look like fun and you don't want to play any of these games, just check out the website, come on out, drive our cars instead.
Yeah, wear our CV joints out. Much better.